Introduction to Object Variables. Understanding the foundation of data structures in Power Automate. Welcome everyone. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of object variables in Power Automate. First, let's establish what an object variable is. Think of it as a sophisticated container that allows you to manage complex data structures effectively. Object variables store data in key-value pairs, which makes it much easier to work with data returned from APIs, especially when that data is formatted in JSON. As we progress, you'll see how crucial these object variables are for building efficient workflows. Definition of object variables. What are object variables in Power Automate? Now let's get into the definition. An object variable is essentially a data structure that holds multiple related values, represented as key-value pairs. In the context of Power Automate, these variables enable you to store complex data, such as API responses or structured data from SharePoint. This capability allows you to handle the intricacies of data management without overwhelming your workflow. As we move through this chapter, you'll gain a clear understanding of how to create and utilize object variables effectively. Significance of object variables. Why use object variables? So why are object variables so significant? They play a pivotal role in facilitating data integration and processing within our workflows. By using object variables, we can organize and manage complex data, which not only reduces errors, but also enhances workflow efficiency. Imagine having to deal with a variety of data points from different sources. Object variables make it easier to consolidate and manipulate that information. This means your flows will be cleaner, easier to maintain, and far less error-prone. Common use cases for object variables. Practical applications in workflows. Let's talk about some practical applications of object variables. One of the primary uses is integrating with external APIs. When you retrieve data from an API, you often get complex responses that include various data types. Object variables allow you to store and manage this data efficiently. Another common use case is handling data from SharePoint lists. SharePoint often contains nested fields and multi-select options, which can be challenging to manage. Object variables help organize this information in a manageable format. Lastly, they are incredibly useful for storing user input from forms, allowing you to process that data later in your flows. These applications highlight just how versatile and valuable object variables can be in your workflows. Differences between variable types. Object variables versus other variable types. Now, let's differentiate between object variables and other variable types available in Power Automate. Object variables are unique because they store complex data structures as key-value pairs. In contrast, we have string variables that simply represent text data. These cannot hold structured information. Integer variables, as you might guess, only store whole numbers, which are not suitable for complex data needs. Then we have arrays, which are great for storing lists of values, but don't provide the key-value pairing that object variables offer. Understanding these distinctions will help you choose the right type of variable for your specific needs. Understanding JSON structure. The building blocks of JSON data. Next, let's dive into JSON structure. JSON, or JavaScript Object Notation, is a lightweight format for data interchange. It consists of key-value pairs, arrays, and nested objects, making it highly flexible and easy to read. When you look at a JSON object, you'll notice it's made up of keys. These are strings that act like labels for your data. The values can be strings, numbers, objects, arrays, or booleans. Understanding this structure is essential, especially when you're working with data from APIs. As we progress, I'll provide examples to help you visualize how these components come together in a practical context. Let's take a look at a practical example of a JSON object. Consider a scenario where you're managing tasks in a project. A typical JSON object might look like this. Here, you can see how object variables encapsulate related information in a structured format. The title and due date are straightforward, but notice how we can nest information about the person assigned to the task, including their name and email. This structured approach makes it easier to work with complex data. Best practices for object variables. Guidelines for effective management. As we wrap up this section, let's discuss some best practices for managing object variables. First and foremost, use clear and descriptive names for your object variables. This practice helps maintain readability and understanding in your workflows. Also, structure your data with future use cases in mind. Think about how your flow might evolve over time, and ensure that your object variables can accommodate those changes. Lastly, document your flows and their data structures to facilitate maintenance and updates. By following these best practices, you'll create more efficient and manageable workflows, setting yourself up for success as you continue to work with object variables.